So if any of you know this car, then you know me personally, because this car right here is my very first car. I've kept it around under covers and just taking care of it. I've had this car since I was 15. I'm now 21 years old. It is a 1996 Mustang GT with a 4.6 liter, but it has an automatic. But it's got the black and peanut butter brown interior with the tan top to match. It's convertible. It's been painted a spice orange, like a BMW color. This dent here is from a nader that came through, blew a branch down onto it. Nader came through. It's got 18-inch ZR wheels on it. Other than that, it's mostly pretty stock. Has the 3-core aluminum SVE radiator in there and a cold air intake. That's it. That's all that's been done in under here. Also got the strut bar, but for this car here, I finally got some parts for it that I've been wanting to put on this thing since I've always had it. I've always had this car and always wanted these parts in it. So what did I get here? I got me a stage 2 clutch, a Steeda clutch cable. I got a T45 transmission. It's got a MGW or something. Yeah, MGW shifter with a bullet, like a 01 bullet shift knob, a legit one. Got a lightweight flywheel for that as well, and also got a drive shaft for it today. Picked up this little drive shaft from Mustang Parts Salvage MPS out in Statham, Georgia. They hooked me up. Got this whole drive shaft for 75 bucks with the yokes on it, and it even looks like it's got new U-joints in it, which is a plus. So yep, that's my first car right there. And yeah, it's even got the little styling package wing thing. It didn't come with that from factory, but somebody put that in. And she's sweet. She's only got 155,000 on it. It's pretty low mileage for these cars. The seats are torn up, and the carpets are pretty nasty as well. These drop tops, they tend to leak where the windows meet the top, especially right here. It's real bad, and it'll pull up inside of there. But I've been keeping this thing undercover. So I got the dash bezel piece for right there. I was putting subwoofers and stuff like that in it because that's what was cool. But anyways, we're gonna get to jerking this car up into the air and taking that automatic out of there so we can have fun, because I'm trying to have fun with it. Okay, so starting off our journey here, we got the front wheels off so I can take these corner pieces off so I can peel back the inner fender well a little bit. That way I can get to the bolts that this is hiding, holding on this cross member that the convertibles have. And this cross member has to come off so I can reach those exhaust bolts right up in there. So that all that has to come off, and then I can drop the exhaust out from underneath this car, and then I'm on my way to removing the drive shaft. Yeah, remove the drive shaft. I gotta take all the bell housing bolts out once I put a jack underneath this. I'm probably gonna take most of the bell housing bolts out, except for like 2 or 3 before I put the jack under. That way I can just get them while I got room. And then I also gotta remove the shifter cables, and I gotta get up in there, and I gotta remove the shifter from up in there. So fun times. Getting straight to it. That's just where I'm at right now. If you have a 96 Mustang GT and you haven't done this right here, I highly recommend doing that and cleaning that area of this car, because that would rust if I had not done that. Look at all this that came out. I'm lucky there's no rust in there right now. That's crazy. Okay, so now it is day 2. It is now day 2. And here's the bar I was talking about last scene or whatever. I got the whole bar removed. There's a lot of bolts holding it in. It's dirty. This car only has this bar because it's a convertible. But on other news, excuse the ratchet strap for a second. I got the exhaust pulled. It's over there. Starter had to come out. I got all the bell housing bolts out of the transmission. Now I also got the torque converter bolts undone. So I got all the sensors unplugged, and I got the shifter cable undone. Now all that's left is I have to throw this ratchet strap around this plate and this transmission and strap the transmission to this plate so I can ease it down on the transmission jack after I can take this cross member out, that drive shaft, and then this old girl should be ready to come right out of there. Then we're on to a 5-speed and slapping gears. Ooh, I can't wait. Alright, so I've managed to successfully make a massive mess underneath the car of transmission fluid, but finally got the transmission out of there. We can see here it's got 6 bolts on that flywheel, meaning it's a Romeo 4.6. The drive shaft bolts were insanely tight, but pulling this transmission out of this car. It has a new torque converter in it I didn't know about, and looks like this was put in 2012. So I think it was probably about 2012 that that car got totaled or something happened to it to make it need a new transmission. And yeah, now we're here. Here's a 6 catalytic converters that go under there. This is awful. I don't know why you would need 6 of them, but that's just, look how ugly it is. Look how much room that exhaust would take up. It would make so much heat. That's crazy. Anyways, made a massive mess. Michael watched me battle it, and I lost my battle. Made a huge mess. Now to clean up after myself, and then I can move on from there. I have to put a new rear main seal in it and other goods. We'll get to it. All slap full of training fluid. So we are now looking at like day 3 of this Mustang here. Shaboom, kaboom. So today, I got the shifter out, which required removing the entire center console and all that stuff. You can see the original color of the car there, laser red. And also, in other news, we now have a XTD clutch. This is their stage 2 with chromoly, lightweight flywheel. It's gonna be pretty hard to see that, I'm pretty sure, but it's got a lightweight flywheel in there, aftermarket stuff. But now that we got that clutch in there, I got the torque wrench under here, and I'm now gonna torque all those bolts down, and then my clutch is installed. I already put a new rear main seal in the back there. Can't see it through the clutch. I put a new rear main seal back there, put a new pilot bearing in it. We're looking good so far. I don't know if it's gonna run again, considering we got all these plugs that came off the automatic, but
you know, you got a speed sensor. It's gotta be like a speed sensor. One's gotta be like reverse. I have no clue what that one would be. And another one tells it which gear it's in. But it might never run again. We're gonna find out. Anyways, I got the torque wrench in here. We're gonna get to it. Alright. So here is my cross member. You can see where I cut it. And I moved it over and then added little squares there, and I don't really care for grinding down the welds. I just kind of threw paint over it so it wouldn't rust. But other than that, Michael helped me stab the tranny this morning. Now, I know y'all can't see nothing. But now we got the transmission bolted to the... So yeah, it was tough to route the cable. I had to route it next to the oil pan, through the K-member, like so, and then around the oil filter, up and around that. You could see the cable there. Anyways, got all that stuff. I have the Steeda adjustable firewall thing for the clutch now, and also have the quadrant installed, the 3 pedals. I went ahead and clearanced and cut the floor board a little bit so I could mount the shifter in there, and there it all is, and it's glory. So now I'm gonna get this mount up in there, put the drive shaft in, and then I gotta put the cross brace back under the front of it. Or no, I gotta get the starter on it, then put the cross brace under it, and I gotta change the oil in the transmission, make sure that's full, and then put the drive shaft back in it, and then we're ready for a test drive. Back to work. Alright, and to finish this video off, excuse the grinder noises in the background. Here she is out in the sunlight. I got the battery out of my truck in it right now, because that's my daily driver. And yeah, so the cross member is installed. I don't know if y'all can see any of that, but what I had to do is cut the cross member where I cut it. I showed y'all where I cut it, and then I bolted it up in there, and we tacked the 4 corners of it where it sat, and that's when I took, once the 4 corners were tacked and it was in place good enough, we took the cross member out, welded it all up, and then the finished product that y'all saw in the last clip. But other than that, I also got the drive shaft is in there, the stock exhaust is back in there just for now, just so it can run and drive. It's not really a fast car by any means. You do have to get a drive shaft when you do this swap, because the manual drive shaft is about 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches shorter than the automatic drive shaft. If you were to cut the front of the automatic drive shaft off and shorten it, then you could do that and put a new yoke on the front of it, but I got a drive shaft for like 75 bucks, so that's that. As for the interior of the car, don't mind the ripped up seats or the nasty carpet. I cleaned up some of the door panels and the plastics in here and made them look better. I'm gonna get new seats eventually. Here's the center console back in the car with the
bullet shift knob that's still cooling down. I got a boot in here. This is David's old boot from his 90 Fox body that y'all can check out that video up in the corner right here. And yeah, it's got the MGW short throw shifter underneath there, and the old head unit's still in here. But yeah, we're gonna take this for a test drive here soon and then show y'all what this do. It's pretty all right. I'm really happy with it. Real happy with this. So it's so hot out here. Car's sweating.
Yeah, the car is sweating.
So what I had to do to get this running with the automatic transmission harness, I had to take a trip to Tijuana and sell his body. Yeah, I had to do that. I also had to put the gear position sensor off the automatic. I took it and stuck it in the neutral position and then put 2 zip ties on it to hold it there and plugged it in, and then just stuffed it above the transmission. So the ECU thinks it's always in neutral and overdrive's off, but that let me start the car up and now I can drive it. Of course, the speedometer reads we're going like 35 right now. Something's wrong. And the clutch is still wearing it, so I can't really go too hard on it. I'm scared. Hey, doesn't this kind of come off? No. They're Velcroed in there, but that's only if you blow the airbag. Oh. And then replace it. So it also wants to idle pretty low. Right now it's doing pretty alright, but golly, I had to choose a time where there's a bunch of traffic. Great. Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Awesome. Clutch bite's real high up. But it drives really good. So fast that we're going slow, it feels like. Yeah. That's how that goes. It is. Finally getting some temperature in the motor. Seems like the Ace hardware bolts and that I put in the clutch are holding up just fine. That's That's good. I'm gonna keep my legs back here. Sounds like it's gonna go dead, but it's not. Tallest gear ever.
Yeah.
We can go 306 miles an hour.
Wow. I can't get over those pops.
Custom exhaust.
It sounds so awesome.
I mean, you're doing your part for the environment.
Yeah.
You're just breathing through cats.
Yeah.
So like the catalytic converter is catching all the emissions and such, and you get the noise sound that it comes without having mufflers at all.
Exactly. That's how that works. Exactly. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful way of life. And that's why you should subscribe to Gasserworks.
Subscribe if you like the sound of no mufflers.
Yes.
No mufflers. It's got the poppy bangy. Sounds like we're making popcorn. It's almost ready.
Once you stop hearing the pops, it's ready.
Now we can have some delicious buttered popcorn.
So yup, that's it for today, folks.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.